So now, Łukasz, we've come to a sort of little garden area. Where exactly are we now?
So just next to the university, we got the National Library here in Wrocław. It's called Ossolineum. It's a building right behind us. This was the library that was moved here after the war from Lwów, the city I was mentioning before.
Yeah.
As many people came from there, they brought some things. We've seen the Alexander Fedor statue, and this is the library. So the library is 202 years old already. It was established in the time when there was no Poland on the maps. Poland was partitioned between Prussia, Russia and Austria. So no Polish king, no Polish administration, just Polish people living under different rules. Some of the intellectuals and nobles, they tried to keep Polish identity and heritage together. One of them was Count Józef Maksymilian Ossoliński. He put all his money and efforts to start a library. He was protecting Polish books, manuscripts, archives of noble families, and bringing them to one place, start to publish them. And even after his death, it was working pretty well. It was the biggest, I think, in the world collection of Polish literature at some point. And unfortunately, the collection now is divided. After the Second World War, Lwów became part of the Soviet Union. We asked if we can have our books in Poland. It's like our heritage. And, you know, Stalin decided that only 30% of them can come back to Poland. Stalin is the person you don't discuss with, unless you want to die, I guess. So, yeah, still, most of the books are digitalized. It's a long process, so it's not so difficult to use them all if you want to do some research by yourself. And yeah, just the area is beautiful. There's this small garden right here. It was restored in 2007, and they brought it back as a garden. Before the war, it was a small stadium here. As this was not a library before that. It was a gymnasium, which is like a high school in Germany. And yeah, it's like a place where you want to, if you want to relax, you can just feel invited. There's a small cafe and also one of the church communities right there.
Okay, splendid.
Wrocław has long been the largest and culturally dominant city in Silesia and is today Lower Silesia's capital. The history of Wrocław starts at a crossroad. It was one of the centers of the Duchy and then Kingdom of Poland, and briefly in the first half of the 13th century, the center of half of the divided Kingdom of Poland. German settlers arrived in increasing numbers after the 1241 Mongol invasion, and Wrocław eventually became part of the Kingdom of Bohemia. After the War of Austrian Succession, the city and region were added to Prussia and later part of the German Empire. After World War II, Wrocław and most of Silesia were transferred to Poland.
Okay, Łukasz, so we're one of the oldest parts of Wrocław here.
Yes, exactly. We can see there's a riverside. We got islands here. Islands are one of the most important things for Wrocław. Without them, there would be no city. Just in this small area here, we got 6 of them.
Were the islands sort of naturally formed?
Those are naturally formed. There are maybe 2 big islands that would be like artificial, and we got overall like 21 of those. And when the city started, it started actually in this area. The area right there with the cathedral is the oldest one. It was where the first settlement was located. Yeah. This is like the natural place where you want to start your city or settlement. You got natural form of defense, water around it, so it's almost impossible to conquer it. Everything changed in the middle of 13th century. There was a Mongol invasion around this area, and as the island survived, they decided to move the city center to the place where we were starting. It became like a new city center. And islands here became more like a part of the city excluded. It was owned by the church, ruled by the church, something I was also mentioning. And the river here is Odra. It's the second longest river in Poland after Wisła. And it starts in Czech Republic, it goes down to the Baltic Sea. And thanks to the river and islands, we get a lot of bridges. It's around 120 bridges here in Wrocław.
Wow.
which is like one of the highest numbers in basically Europe. Some even say it's 300, but it's the way how you count bridges. There
I
are
was
like two
gonna
different
say,
ways of counting bridges, and basically this is the problem there. But yeah, we'll be actually walking in a moment through the oldest area, so that's also one of the most beautiful parts that you can enjoy your time in the city.
Excellent.